Welcome to the People First Podcast Corner. This is our chance to have some talk, get them and investigate. We are more capable and practice experiences as well as been asking questions.
Hello everyone and welcome to the People First Podcast Corner. This month's episode is a bonus to our recent show on the People First Podcast with disabled astronaut and physician assistant for St. Jude's Hospital in the USA, Hayley Arcenaux. As well as having an interview with her, we got the chance to sit through a presentation she prepared all about her disability journey, as well as the Inspiration 4 mission she did in 2021. We hope you enjoy this show.
There we go.
Hi, everyone. Hi.
Hi.
Great to see you all.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
How are you doing?
I am doing great. I'm so excited to be with you today. I think we're going to have a fun chat about space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I want to ask first, is anyone here interested in space?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I heard y'all have some great questions for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have.
Good. I can't wait to hear them.
I've watched the Netflix documentary.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. They did such a great job with that documentary of really getting to show our experience. And then we had fun because a lot of that last episode where we're in space, we filmed it because we were taking videos of each other in space on our iPhones.
You must be braver than me because I was. Wow.
You're better than me.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll hand over to you to start us off if that's okay.
Absolutely. Okay, first of all, I got to tell you, this is my favorite picture. This was right before we launched, and I'm like, yeah, let's go. But just to go through a little like the background of my story. So I grew up in Louisiana in the United States, and I had a very happy childhood. But when I was 10 years old, I got the news that I had bone cancer in my leg. And when I heard the word cancer, I was so afraid because at that age, I didn't know that you could have cancer and be okay. And so I went to a hospital in Memphis called St. Jude, and I was there for a year. I received chemotherapy where you can see it made me lose my hair, but the hair grew back. And I also had surgery on my leg. So the cancer was in a bone in my leg, and they had to take out that bone and put a metal prosthesis inside of my leg. And I had to do a lot of physical therapy to relearn how to walk after that surgery. But my time at St. Jude, I just really fell in love with the hospital, and I wanted to help other kids with cancer. And so I worked really, really hard. I held on to my dream. And now I work at St. Jude as a PA, a physician associate. I believe that there are physician associates in the UK, but it's a big career here in the US. I take care of kids at St. Jude who are in the hospital with leukemia and lymphoma. And I have my dream job. And so I remember around the time this picture was taken, just thinking like, my life couldn't get any better. I have my dream job. But then there was another path in store for me. I got a phone call from St. Jude saying they wanted to talk to me about a unique opportunity. And what this was it was a fundraiser for St. Jude, but it was also a mission to space. And they picked me for this mission because I've done a lot of fundraising for the hospital over the years. And because I was a patient when I was 10, and then now working at the hospital, they wanted me to be an advocate for the hospital and help tell the St. Jude story as a crew member of Inspiration 4. So I'm pretty sure I'm one of the only people to ever get a phone call out of the blue saying, do you want to go to space? And I answered that call and I said yes. And then I said, wait, let me check with my mom. But my answer is yes. So I called my mom. She was very supportive. And then I talked to my brother and his wife. They're both aerospace engineers. And so I was able to ask them a lot of questions about space missions, and they were very supportive. So then I joined the crew of Inspiration 4. So my mission was the first all-civilian orbital space mission. So we were the first time that people went into space that weren't government astronauts. And we orbited, so that meant we were up in space for several days. And all of us had a different role on the mission. The tallest guy, Jared, he is the philanthropist. He is a very generous man who bought the mission, and he gave us all our seats to space. He's also a pilot, and he was the commander of our mission. So he was the person that we listened to. And then my role, because I work in medicine, I was the medical officer of my mission. So I was in charge of the health of my crew. And some of them got a little sick in space, and I had to help them. And then my other 2 crew members won their seats to space through different contests. So I was often making this face at my trainers when I was learning actual rocket science. It was so fascinating to learn. We really had to learn the ins and outs of the rocket, and I'd never learned anything like that before. I'd never done any kind of engineering. It was fascinating, but it was not easy. So then we had to get our bodies ready for space flight. One of the first things we did was we went in this machine, and you can kind of see the capsule on the left-hand side, but we were inside that capsule, and the machine spun us all around the room at a really, really high speed. And the purpose was because we were moving so fast that we felt a lot of gravity on us. Have you guys ever been on a roller coaster?
Yes.
Okay, you know when you're on a roller coaster and you feel like you're getting pushed back into your seat?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like to go to space, but even more pressure. And so this was a way, because we were moving so fast in this machine, we got to feel a lot of that gravity on us. And when we went to space, we had 4.5 times the normal amount of gravity that we have on Earth. We had that much gravity on our bodies. And then we went up in fighter jets to hit even higher speeds and higher G forces. This is when I was able to experience 8 G's of force, which means 8 times the normal amount of gravity that we experience on Earth. And then we had to do an activity where they took away our oxygen, and we had to breathe without oxygen in the air, because in space there was a small chance that the oxygen levels would drop, and they wanted our body to know what that felt like so we could detect it. Then we got to float. So there's pretty much one way on Earth to float, and it's by taking a zero gravity airplane that flies in a certain way so that you can experience weightlessness.
Wow.
And we had to come together. We were all strangers before this mission. We needed to come together and really learn about each other, trust each other. So we did a crew bonding experience where we camped on a mountain, and we had to climb up this mountain. It took about almost 10 hours to climb the mountain. And then we camped for a couple nights in tents on the mountain. But that was just such a great way for us to learn about each other and come together and become close. So after 6 months of training, it was time to go to space. And this slide is really just to show how cool our spacesuits were. A spacesuit was also very heavy. It weighed about 25 pounds and like maybe 8 kilos. And it had an air conditioning system inside of it. And then this is a slide to show our home in space for 3 days. We were in a spaceship called Dragon, and you can see me on the right side of the screen, but it's not very big, is it?
No.
This whole thing you're seeing, that was our home in space for 3 days. But we had a little bit more room in space because we could float on the ceiling and we could float down in cargo. And here's a picture of launching to space. I don't know if you already know this, but it blew my mind when I found out. It only takes about 9 minutes to get to outer space.
Wow.
I know. I always say it takes me longer to drive to work than it did to get to outer space. But it was 9 minutes, and we launched from Cape Canaveral in Florida. And then we made it to space. We had that beautiful window on our spacecraft so we could really see all of Earth all at once. And we were moving so fast. We were moving at 17,500 miles an hour. And so it only took us about an hour and a half to get around the whole globe. And then I wanted to show some pictures that I took in space on my iPhone. So this is Australia. You can see how it's really like red. What we're looking at is some of the desert of Australia.
Wow.
And then because we were moving around the Earth so fast, we would be over Earth when it was daytime for about 45 minutes. And then the next 45 minutes, we were over Earth when it was nighttime. And so this is a sunset. You can see the colors of the sunset looked really similar to how we see sunsets on Earth when we look up and we see the sky is pink and orange. And this is what it looks like at night. This is actually a picture of the US at night. And all those different yellow lights initially kind of looks like they're stars, but actually, since we're looking at the planet, those are city lights. So all those yellow clusters of lights, those are lights from buildings. It was so beautiful. I love seeing the Earth at night. This is a picture of the Pacific Ocean, but I like this picture because you can see the really, really bright blue that's on the edge of Earth. That's the atmosphere. So that's what surrounds our planet and keeps us safe from space. And then what were we doing in space for 3 days? So a lot of what we were doing was research. In this picture, I'm taking a picture of my eyeball with an ultrasound because we were looking at the size and the shape of the eye in that zero gravity environment.
Wow.
Here's a picture of me and my crew. You might notice I'm upside down. So in space, being upside down feels exactly the same as being right side up. So I was always like, why would I be right side up? I'm just going to be upside down. And what did we eat in space? So we actually ate a lot of pizza. Do y'all like pizza?
Yes.
I do too. So when we got to pick what we wanted to bring to space, I actually picked pizza. And so I ate a lot of pizza. And now I'm going to show a video of demonstrating eating space pizza. A lot of what I've been eating in space is cold pizza. I went with a white pizza with onions, peppers, and jalapenos, and it's delicious. And I've been playing with it a lot too. Not very good.
You run it over without hands.
Wow.
Exploding away.
Yay. It was harder than it looked. So I wanted to show you this picture because this picture is really special to me. So it shows my whole journey. It shows how when I was younger, I got sick and I had to be really brave. And then when I was older, I again had to be really brave, and I did it to help kids with cancer. And actually, through my mission, we raised about $250 million for St. Jude to help other kids with cancer. It was really amazing to be part of. So after 3 life-changing days in space, we came back to planet Earth, and our spaceship went through the atmosphere. And I'm not sure if you can really see it in this photo, but do you see how the spaceship looks really dark in color? That's because when we came through the atmosphere goes around Earth, and its whole job is to keep Earth safe, and it keep things outside of Earth, like keep space rocks from coming into Earth. And so it's really, really hot. And so when we came through the atmosphere, the spaceship was actually on fire for a little while. And when I looked out the window, I could see some fire. But that's why it burned the outside of the spaceship. That's why it became all dark like that. But we were safe. They had made the spaceship so it could handle the fire. And then the fire stopped once we came through the atmosphere, and these parachutes came out and slowed us down because we'd been going so fast we had to slow down. So it slowed us down, and we landed in the Atlantic Ocean. And this picture is taken from a boat. So the boat came and picked up my spaceship out of the water, and we got out of the spaceship onto the boat. And then since I've been back on Earth, I've written some books about my experience, really wanted to share the experience with everyone. And with that, I will take any questions that you guys have. And I can.
Oh, can we give you a round of applause?
Oh, thank you so much. You guys were a great audience.
Well, if you don't mind a pun, we're absolutely over the moon to see you here.
Oh,
Thank you so much for being here.
that is so sweet. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for listening to this episode for the PKC podcast. Come on, if you went to listen to our minute show all about the social effect people with learning disabilities, you can ask before the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or you can visit our website peoplefirstqc.com to keep up to date with our podcast. Follow us on Facebook, X and Instagram by searching for the People First Podcast.